We've heard all the promises and now we know how our politicians plan to pay for the election commitments. Labor's proposing 4 new taxes on the wealthy, while the LNP wants to slash $2.6 billion from Cross River Rail. Tegan George reports.
No one's immune to election fatigue.
Hello.
In the dying days, the Premier went on a wild chase to the Sunshine Coast, hunting for a captive crowd.
Hello.
Mr Nicholls went full throttle too, racing between Hervey Bay, Toowoomba and Kenilworth to remind us he's just rough and tumble Tim. The serious business was back in Brisbane, where treasurers revealed how they plan to pay for their party's promises. Labor's taking a big gamble 2 days out from the election, announcing 4 new taxes, including a 15% betting and lottery levy.
Lottoland CEO Luke Brill said his company was, quote, happy to pay a point of consumption tax to each state rather than be banned.
Its $2.8 billion in promises will also be partly covered by increased levies on foreign property buyers, luxury cars and a new land tax on the wealthiest property owners.
In fact, our revenue measures will not impact on around 99% of Queenslanders.
For 26 days, she hasn't mentioned these taxes, and today, what we see is tax, tax, tax and tax from Labor.
The Premier said all week there'd be a new debt reduction plan.
He will reveal that today.
Are you happy with it?
Yes, I am.
Turns out it's the same one from last term, and total debt is barrelling towards $80.9 billion in 2021. The LNP thinks it can do better by $403 million.
There are no forced redundancies here, no asset sales here, just good, common sense government.
Its promises have come in at $4.3 billion. $2.6 billion would be cut from the Cross River Rail budget and invested in other infrastructure projects.
The LNP is not walking away from Cross River Rail. We're making sure it actually stacks up.
A further $2.2 billion would be stripped from 21 existing Labor programs and used to fund LNP promises. In total, $4.8 billion in cuts or savings, depending who's talking. The LNP waited until an hour ago to drop its plan, with Tim Nicholls refusing to even be drawn on whether he'd seen it.
Sorry?
Haven't approved them.
Oh, Lauren, that's not no, Lauren. You can't put those words in my mouth.
Queenslanders now have 48 hours to consider the plans before they head to the polls.
Have you been naughty or not?
I've been very nice.
Tegan George, 10 Eyewitness News.